Welcome to the Academic Writing Amplified podcast. On this podcast, we believe that the culture of academia needs to change radically. Women and non-binary people are revolutionizing academia within institutions that were not built for us. If you're ready to reject the culture of overwork, kick guilt and overwhelm to the curb, and amplify your voice to make a real impact on your field without breaking down or burning out, you're in the right place. With our team of experienced writing coaches as co-hosts, we'll share insights and talk to inspiring guests to bring you the practical strategies, systems, and mindset shifts you need to find time to write, publish work you love, and design your career on your terms. And it all starts with writing. Let's go. Hello. This is Kathy Mazak from Scholar's Voice. Welcome back to Academic Writing Amplified. Today we are talking about the power of asking. So our Navigate program enrollment just closed, which means our next enrollment period will be mid-April, April-ish. And that's why I wanted to do today's podcast today. It is all about asking. And what I mean by asking is asking for funds from your university for professional development. Now, the things I talk about here are also things for any kind of internal ask, right? For asking for funding or getting funding from your university. So internal funding. But I really wanted to do a podcast episode that focuses on what is in it for you when you ask, besides the money, right? Besides the funding of whatever program you want to do. What is in it for you? And what I really think is in it for you as you develop and ask for professional development funding is power. I actually think that the process of asking is very powerful. Now, you might be thinking the opposite because the approach that you're thinking about when you're asking is really emphasizes the power difference between you and the department chair or the dean or whoever you are making the ask of. And it's well, I don't have the money. They have the money. They get to decide. And it feels like a very powerless situation. So that's why I wanted to talk today about all the ways that asking is powerful to help you kind of develop yourself around asking and stepping into your power around asking. All right. So I got a list of things. I asked, what does asking do for you? Right. And so here's a list. I'm going to go through each one. And first of all, I want to say that I'm in a room with puppies. The puppies are squealing and squeaking. So if you hear that, that's what it is. I'm going to just record anyway. They're not that loud. They're just little squeaks in the background. So hopefully they don't bother you too much. But anyway, I want you to know that if you are interested in doing either our summer retreat, which is happening in July, the retreat is called Spacious, or if you're interested in doing our Navigate program, our next cohort starts in May. Again, enrollment will be in April. Right now, today is the time to make the appointment with your dean or whoever you're going to ask for funding internally and get on that person's calendar and start preparing yourself to ask. Today is the day for that. Don't wait anymore. Do it now. Universities take a long time to say yes to things, and they take a long time to actually disperse the funds. So if you want to be funded either for our writing retreat in the summer or for our next cohort of Navigate, you need to start asking today. All right. So go ahead, pause the podcast, go email the dean or call the dean's secretary and get on the calendar because you are going to feel so empowered to ask by the time this podcast episode is over. Okay, so the power of asking. Asking your admin, asking somebody at your university to fund your professional development shows that you are serious about your career. Okay, so you might think it shows weakness. You might think it shows a lack of ability, but I'm inviting you to entertain the thought that what it shows when you ask is your deep and sincere desire to continually improve in your career. So that is something to be admired and respected. That is not a position of disempowerment, right? Okay, what else does asking for internal funds for your professional development do for you? Well, it shows that you understand the strategic plan and your role in it. So, what do I mean by this? Well, the way that I teach people to ask, and we have previous podcast episodes about this, but I'll give you the 1-minute version right now. The way that you want to ask for internal funding is to find the strategic plan, read it, and your ask needs to be hooked into it. It needs to show the administrator that you're asking. It needs to show them how you participating in the professional development program is helping to enact the strategic plan. Remember, and this is something I'm trying to convince my my teenage daughter about. I'm really trying to teach her about argumentation and persuasion because, she's a teenager, so she wants to do a lot of things and she ends up having to ask us to do them. And she wants to kind of present her argument as like, I have straight A's. I did awesome on the College Board and the PSAT. I'm the president of National Honor Society and the treasurer of the Student Council. And so I should be allowed to do whatever the thing is. And I'm like, actually, when you're trying to ask somebody for something, you don't tell them what it's going to do for you or like why you deserve it. You make your argument based on how it's going to help the person you're asking. So the thing you need to think about is like, let's say you're going to ask your dean, how does my participation in Navigate help the dean show that they are taking action on the strategic plan? How does my participation in the Spacious Retreat help the dean show that they are enacting or taking action on the strategic plan? Because then it makes them look good, right? It's showing that they're doing their job. For example, if your strategic plan says that you are supposed to, or that the university is prioritizing retention of women and minority faculty, then investing in your professional development as a woman or minority faculty is going to show the world that the dean puts his money where his mouth is, or puts her money where her mouth is, right? That person is enacting the strategic plan because they're supporting women and minority faculty to be retained by supporting their professional development. That's just one example. If instead your strategic plan talks about undergraduate research, right? Like a lot of people at Slack, there's a lot of stuff about encouraging undergraduate research. Then you need to make the argument that you getting your research publications out, which is what Navigate helps you do, is going to help you be a better mentor to undergraduate researchers. That's the argument. It's not like I am deserving, so that's why you should fund it. It's not I have a lack of ability, which is what a lot of you think you're saying when you ask, but that's not it. You need to be hooking to the strategic plan and asking based on that. So when you ask that way, you are showing that you understand the strategic plan and your role in it, and that you also understand the dean or administrator's role in it as well. And that is showing like you're taking action and you're active. You understand the bigger mission of the university. Okay, another thing that asking and getting funded for professional development helps you do is professionalize your role. Okay, so you might think, and you'd be right, that professors are professionals, right? But unlike almost every other highly educated, high-level professional, like doctors and lawyers and, all these other people, we don't usually have as part of our retention in the field, unless we're in like psychology or something where we're like, like have a certification. You don't usually have to do continuing ed. but almost all professionals have to do continuing ed. So there's no reason for you to be like, oh, I need extra help, and so please fund my professional development. No, this is part of the life of a professional. Professional people continue to learn and they continue to get professional development. So asking for the university to fund that shows that you see yourself as a professional, and it professionalizes your role. Asking also builds confidence in yourself. So when you ask and you get a yes, it is a really confidence building situation. Like I've seen so many of my clients like ask, get the yes, and just be like, I can't believe it. This is so amazing. They feel like, yeah, it's like a boost of confidence. And you might be thinking, yeah, but they could say no, and then that would harm my confidence. And that's true. But if you don't ask, then you also can't get the yes. If you don't ask, you can't get the yes. So asking helps you build confidence in yourself. And even just like the process of you preparing your argument, you'll start to convince yourself, of them that they need to fund you. So that also will help build your confidence. Okay. Again, similarly, developing your ask, like thinking about how you want to ask helps you develop an understanding of your worth, because you're going to have to articulate that in the process of asking, right? So this helps you, it reminds you like, no, I'm worthy to be retained, worthy to be invested in professional. And so I should be eligible to get funding for my professional development. And finally, I really think, again, opposite of what you may be thinking, I think I would invite you to entertain the thought that asking for professional development funding shows that you are ambitious and a leader. It shows that you're a person who continually wants to develop and get better. And so that is really like, again, back to my first point, right? This is like an honorable thing. This is a thing that your dean and your university, your admin should want to encourage. Your ambition and you being a leader in your profession and in your field. So for all of those reasons, I believe that asking is really, really powerful. So if you've been hesitant, if you've been like, well, I don't want to, here's something that comes up a lot. There's a lot of thoughts about like admitting I don't know how to do something. You're not admitting you don't know how to do something. You are trying to get better at something you're already pretty damn good at. So that's why asking is powerful. That's why I encourage everyone to ask. And a little bit, that's why the price point of the program, the Navigate program is $4,500 for the first round. And part of the reason it's priced that way is because it's a professional development program for really high-level professionals. It's exclusive because we want people who really are dedicated to being there, to be in the program. That's why there's an admission process, and we don't just let everybody in. We need to make sure it's a right fit for people, and it's priced for what it is, a highly valuable professional development program. So you can feel confident asking for its funding because you are joining a circle of really kind of go-getter professors who are already pretty awesome and are looking to make their lives and their careers even more better and more impactful. So I encourage you to get on the wait list for Navigate, look into our spacious retreat, see if it's something that you want. And right now, call up the dean or whoever you're going to ask and get on their calendar, because it is time for you to ask for what you need. And if you think that Navigate or our spacious retreat will help you to get your writing and publications out there in the world and make your career better, then it is time for you, my friend. Don't wait anymore. Ask today. There is power in asking. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time supporting yourself and your writing by listening to this episode. If you like what you heard today, the best way to say thank you is to hop on over to Apple iTunes and write an honest review. The more reviews, the more amazing academic women and non-binary people will find this podcast. So go write one now.